Rank 10 Motobe, Rank 9 Retsu, Rank 8 Katsumi, 7 Goki, Rank 6 Kakukayo, Rank 5 Pickle, Rank 4 Masashi Miyamoto, Rank 3 Baki Hanma, 2 Yujiro Hanma, and 1 Yuichiro Hanma. If I told you this was the top 10 strongest in Baki during 2024, you all would call me crazy, and if not, you got some listening to do. That was the ranking provided by this GameRant article titled Baki Hanma 21 Strongest Fighters Ranked, updated during June of 2024, so only a few months ago, and was created by two people working together who have acclaimed expertise in anime and qualifications such as a seasoned fan, resulting in a ranking that just doesn't make sense and even has people in the comments confused, perhaps the spread of misinformation once again. Therefore, this requires me, the mysterious weeb who wields a PhD in yapping about Baki, to debunk or review this ranking. Today, I have some good news for you mad lads. When using my code for GamerSums during this limited time, you can get free worldwide shipping. I know the struggle of insane shipping prices as I live in the land of kangaroos, so hopefully this helps some of you, link in the description. So I've already gone over the top 10 strongest outlined in the list, but let's start from the very bottom to truly see how terrible it is. Rank 21 Sikorsky. I don't know exactly why they chose 21 placements, but it is what it is. So this placement as a whole is okay. He is considered the weakest prisoner by a majority of the community, and I agree. We then have Spec, however, where the disagreements begin. I honestly consider him the second strongest, or at the very least top 3 strongest when it comes to the prisoners, being able to push Hanayama during that stage to a high difficulty fight and even clown on Baki previously, something I don't think many of the other prisoners could really do, which includes Hector Doyle, who's sitting at rank 19. He is pretty sick and I do like the moments we got from him, but if we're being honest, he kinda got destroyed by a lot of people. Then we have Yanagi at 18. He does have arguments that he's the most dangerous and could be the strongest prisoner. It is a possibility, but at the very least top 2 is fine. But then out of nowhere we have Muhammad Ali Jr. So this really depends on perspective, but looking at the narrative of the story, you could argue that Ali Jr. is in fact stronger than all the prisoners, but some people with that said would disagree. So it's a slight issue, but nothing major and does depend on argumentation, with Dorian being placed at 16, who yes is commonly believed as the strongest prisoner due to his insane performance during that arc. So as a whole, these bottom placements are okay, but that is where it ends because number 15 is Jack Hanma. Yeah, Jack at rank 15. I know the article claims that it's Baki Hanma, so you could say it's talking about the anime seasons alone, but they also included Masashi Miyamoto, who right now is still only a manga character, meaning they can't be just using the anime, and even if they were, Jack has many arguments at this point as well to go much higher. Therefore, with this placement alone, I think everyone's going to be on my side at this point, absolutely insane. And then at 14, Hanayama just pulls up out of nowhere. Is he stronger than Jack during this time around the Yujiro and Baki fight in the Pickle arc? He could be. He did have that pushing exchange with Pickle where it wasn't an outright fight. He did however claim during the time he was watching Baki fight Pickle that he's outright inferior to the Dino Boy, which could be a concession of, you know, him being weaker than Pickle and maybe doesn't even stand a chance. So with that said, you could argue Jack is stronger, but these two around the same range at this point is very fair. It's just that they don't really belong at rank 15 and 14 by any means. And then we got some just wild stuff occurring, Gaia. Let's actually read their reasoning for the rank 13 Gaia placement above Jack and above Hanayama. So they mention Gaia has faced Baki a number of times. It was more so a few fights in the past against a 13-year-old Baki where he lost, so can't really use that as a main argument for current days. They describe him as a super soldier who is perhaps the most tactical fighter in the world. Yes, he's very tactical, and under the right circumstances, for example fighting him in the jungle would give him a big advantage, but I wouldn't even say he's the most tactical fighter considering you have people like Motobe and even some others depending on your argumentation. And then they proceed to talk about the bonus chapter where we have the most cursed technique in Baki revealed, wielded by Gaia. So again, I don't know what range of Baki material they're using to rank these characters. They're using side manga stuff for Gaia, but then releasing this or updating this in 2024, not including the current manga, which is this. I don't know what to say, but rank 12 we have Doppo Orochi. I think this is a fair placement personally, but it really depends on who's really around him. Then we have Biscuit Oliver. So during the time of the anime, which I believe this is what it's mainly based on, even though they have other stuff included, it's whatever. They don't think Biscuit Oliver belongs in the top 10. Let's go into their reasoning for the actual top 10. So Motobe, I'm guessing they're using the Musashi arc stuff, the fact that he was able to defeat Musashi even though he outright claimed that he's inferior to the legendary samurai, and is outright nothing compared to a lot of the fighters without weapons, including Jack Hanma as claimed by him during that arc. If Motobe didn't have the prep time and his weapons, Jack would have absolutely destroyed him, and even with all of that, he was still in danger of losing that fight, with it being much higher difficulty than a lot of you guys actually remember or claim throughout the community. Rank 9 is Retsu. So if we use Retsu's showings during the Musashi arc, with the use of weapons, he actually is likely a monster, but again, this was updated in 2024. Retsu has, spoilers, been dead for 6 years now when it comes to the Baki release schedule. 6 years for other characters to get stronger, and Retsu, to be honest, becoming more and more outdated. We do have his isekai manga. Maybe they're using this, but it doesn't seem like they are, so it's an okay placement but has issues, and does highlight that a lot of this ranking is low-key just random placements of characters. 8 we have Katsumi Orochi, which I do believe is fine looking at the narrative. He's meant to have surpassed his father Doppo Orochi by this point, and then if we're using current Katsumi, if we are, I don't know, he should be above Retsu as well at this point, so this is fine. But then at rank 7 we have Goki, which is an insane hot take, which may be the case. I'm assuming the reasoning for this placement is how he was able to troll and kinda shit on Oliver during the prison arc due to his Aiki. But outside of that, Goki doesn't really do a lot throughout the series. He has a decent showing during the Musashi arc, but at a power level range, he should be regarded on the same level as Doppo Orochi, probably slightly above due to defeating him in the maximum tournament. It's not like these two go insanely above one another at any point after that, more so around the same range, which is consistent throughout the entire series. Then at rank 6 we have Kaku Kaio, with the claim of backed Yujiro into a corner, while they place Doppo outside of the top 10 when he was able to potentially back Yujiro in the corner as well, and the timeline between those two moments aren't really an insane difference. For example, Yujiro vs Doppo occurred before the maximum tournament. The way the Baki manga worked is we have 17-year-old Baki introduced to the series, where we see him have a few matches against the Cord Cutter, his brother and some of the others, which eventually builds up the Doppo Orochi vs Yujiro fight, And then after that, we transition into the big flashback of 13-year-old Baki. That concludes where we cut back to the current time with the setting up of the maximum tournament. That whole arc occurs. Baki proceeds to turn 18 in the following arc, or maybe even stay 17 years old, meaning from the Yujiro and Doppo fight all the way to the Yujiro and Kaku fight, I believe it's been less than a year, or that whole thing occurs within 1 year, technically in the Baki timeline, which is a little hard to understand and believe, but low-key that might be the case. However, looking at the release schedule, that was around a 8 or 9 year difference between the two, so considering Kaku stronger than Doppo is fair and should be the case. However, you can use this statement from Ali Jr. that he pretty much implied that Kaku is around the same level as Goki and Doppo, which isn't really disproven at any point in the future of the story, considering Kaku doesn't fight anyone, he's more so in a training position. But also, with all that said, you do have some perspectives, and of course there's a big argument about what he said about Pickle when Katsumi was fighting him, which could have him placed here or much lower, but I see the reasoning, I just personally don't agree. 5 is Pickle, that's fine. Masashi Miyamoto comes in 4, again that's fine, he should be above Pickle, he should be above everyone low on the list. 2 is Baki Hanma, with the main claim here being bested Biscuit Oliver in a context of strength. I think you should be saying was able to fight Yujiro as a better thing to, argue his placement. But Baki being above Masashi Miyamoto is okay if you're using the current Baki Rahen story, which they're clearly not, or they're just trolling at this point. In the Masashi arc, it's probably just an either way argument. Some say Baki's stronger during that arc considering the climax, others say Masashi due to other moments during the arc. It's more so up to perspective. During the arc itself, I'm leaning towards Masashi, but at later points, due to the time passing, Baki character is getting stronger. The Hanma boy is definitely rising, but outside of all that, let's move on. Yujiro coming in at second is wrong. Yujiro should be number 1, as I mentioned at the start of the video. Yujiro Hanma is number 1. So let's look at the argumentation here, which tends to be the stuff that results in the most misinformation or just lies about a character. So, Yujiro Hanma, called the strongest by Yujiro Hanma, just didn't happen, a lie. The ogre does not state this about his father at any point in the series. They then mention that during the father-son clash, it was revealed that there is one foe even Yujiro cannot overpower, his own father. This was not stated or implied during the reveals about Yujiro Hanma. Yujiro did not mention fighting his father at any point, whether he can defeat him. The only thing he really did is showed respect for one technique, that being dress. Outside of that, it was more so Yujiro not really having a good relationship with his father, due to them being complete opposites of one another, that being as a person and every other way entirely. They also claim that he dies many years before Baki's birth. This is something that's also not confirmed in the series, but is likely the case considering his appearance in ghost-like form, but again not 100% confirmed in the series at all, just more misinformation or just saying random stuff. Therefore, their reasoning for putting Yujiro at rank 1 is this field of stuff that doesn't exist in the series. That's the ranking. If I was to do my current Baki Rahen ranking, it would go Yujiro, Baki, likely Jack, who is currently fighting Pickle and I do believe is going to win. Masashi Miyamoto, if you want to consider him still part of the story even though he's likely never to return. Pickle probably below him still, but depends. And then the ranking could really go up in the air. You could include Sukune, you could include Oliver, Hanayama, stuff like that. Really just depends. I have other videos going over the rankings in great detail based on perspective, etc. But as you guys can clearly see, this Game Rent article isn't the best, and I don't know what they were going for with it. They included Miyamoto but call it Baki Hanma and try to talk about the anime mostly. They include just wrong stuff and out of context statements, so yeah. Unlucky boys. Hope you enjoyed the debunk. And before that, shout out to the members of the channel, these absolute mad lads. You can be recognized as one yourself by becoming a member, which gets access to additional content and various other benefits. But that's it guys, peace.